Alright, today I will talk about Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. So, Furiosa is a prequel to Fury Road, a film which I really liked. In my opinion, that was the perfect Mad Max movie for me. So, when this idea of a prequel of this movie that I really liked came on board, I was pretty intrigued, especially with George Miller still directing the Mad Max movie until now. After watching it, well, I'm kind of mixed on it. There are some things that I really like, but there are some things that keeps this movie from being great. Now, for starters, of course, I will start with the positives. The first positive is the casting. Anya Taylor-Joy portrays the younger version of Furiosa very convincingly. When you see her on screen, she really does embody that personality, the same personality that the Furiosa from Fury Road had. She doesn't talk very much in this film. She doesn't have a lot of dialogue, and for most of the time, she is quiet. So that keeps the consistency of her character from being the same. And when you're watching her on screen, you really get the idea that this is the same character that we saw from Fury Road, but way younger. Now, the second casting that I really like is Chris Hemsworth as the Mantis. He brings a new refreshing take, a new refreshing kind of villains in the Mad Max world, and which is he portrays a really narcissistic lunatic that lives in this world and really just want to cause chaos. And you see that on screen, and the chaos that he really translates very well on screen. The chaos that he made translates to one of the biggest action sequences that this film has. And with that, I will move on to the action sequences. You get the idea. You're not here for basically the story. Yes, the story is important, but what is more important than the story? Of course, the action and the insane cars. And you really get that in this film. Now, first of all, let's talk about the action. This film does contain a lot of action sequences, particularly one that consists of many action components and has a duration of 10 minutes. Yes, 10 minutes non-stop action, but there are a lot of different action sequences that this film has. That is not to say that Furiosa is more action-packed than Fury Road was. No, that's not the case here, because this film also spends a lot of time, a lot of chapters, a lot of character development for Furiosa. So, in that regard, you are here as an audience. Your main goal is to know Furiosa better, to get the better understanding of her character, while still maintaining all of these crazy action set pieces. That being said, there is some pacing issues. For the first 3 chapters, the pacing for me is a little off. That is understandable to some degree, but you really feel the runtime while you're watching this film. Yes, the action is entertaining, but there are also some times that you really want this film to speed up and get straight to the point. With that in mind, I will move on to the biggest problem and also the cause of why I think this movie bombed at the box office. The main problem that this film has is not having Mad Max in it, because this is a Furiosa movie, and it really shows from the numbers. People aren't showing for this film because there is no Mad Max in this film. They don't care about Furiosa. That is the real thing here. That is the real problem. For 10 years, we wanted to see a new Mad Max film, not a new Furiosa film. And the number really shows. Not a lot of people have watched this film, and it really hurts the box office. And that cause is very understandable. I would have been fine having a new Mad Max film featuring Furiosa in it. But it really does show from the numbers that people don't really care about Furiosa standalone film, and it really hurts the box office performance of this film. That is the biggest problem that this film has. Yes, this film has a good quality, a good action, the casting is solid, and there is one other small tiny little bit of negative that this film has, and that is the CGI. Sometimes the CGI look really great, and some other times not so good, Also, the wasteland in this film and the wasteland from Fury Road looks very, very different. The wasteland of the Fury Road is dirtier than this, and it really looks dustier, dirtier, and that was a result from a combination of practical effects and CGI blended together to create this amazing feel of this wasteland and bringing it to life on screen. That is not the same case for this film. The wasteland in this film is not so alive. There is a lot of scenes where you see clearly that these characters, that these actors are on green screen. And maybe this is just a little bit of negative, but sometimes, just sometimes, it really takes you away from the experience. And it really hurts. So, yes, a lot of things work in this film, but the main thing for not having Mad Max in it really hurts the film, and a lot of little negatives really distract this film from being great. So that in mind, I will give Furiosa a 7 out of 10. I think this is still a solid worth watch Mad Max entry into the wasteland. It is not as good as Fury Road though. This is the realization that Mad Max film without Mad Max couldn't work, and this is the proof right here. So 7 out of 10. If you have seen Furiosa, tell me everything that works for you, and tell me everything in the comment section, and also your ranking of the previous Mad Max movie. I would love to know. So 7 out of 10, and see you on the next video, guys.